welcome to this very interesting behind the scenes extended and most important clip. Well, actually not, but you know. So, initially, Sinister Innocence. Let's talk about that. Sinister Innocence is a movie which I directed and wrote. Now, initially, from the treatment, there are only two main aspects which actually change. The first one was that the corpse, instead of having long black hair, only had short black hair, but there we are, that was the actor's decision, and the corpse just looked better with short black hair, because initially it just raises this innocence level to such a great extent that it actually looks spooky when you just have short black hair, because initially it makes you feel a bit more shocked when you see it, because initially it looks like she first has been mistreated, then hanged, and then slit open. So basically that is really a shock if you just see this innocent angelical corpse with short black hair. It just looks out of the ordinary. So initially the second thing, which was slightly out of treatment, but even though I think as a director you can change things even though it is with the treatment, because it just makes the shot entirely better, was the 3 white walls. Okay, I don't know why I wrote 3 white walls. I must have been, out of my mind or crazy or drunk or something. Because initially you couldn't find any 3 white walls. It's literally impossible. So basically what we did was that we used the IT department, so basically where all our film students have access to, and turned it into a fun hunting crime scene. Sorry about that, actually. So initially, then we had to just basically attach the hangman's knot. First we had a really, unsafe technique, and I will just, push that to... We had a really unsafe method at first, which basically involved me holding a lamppost with the hangman's knot attached to it. Anyway, that didn't work because initially we had lampposts all over the place, ethical issues. That's why I was saying, do tell me something, Xing Yang, if there's air pressure, if you're feeling dizzy, or if you're just feeling like joking. Then just tell me. So basically what we did was that we used duct tape and just duct taped this hangman's knot to the wall, and then she just could simply hang herself without actually hanging herself. So basically, back to the 3 white walls, we just used 1 white wall because initially it just looked so much more haunting. Because initially what 1 white wall does, it just shifts the focus onto the corpse, what I actually thought which 3 white walls would do, but initially then I thought, okay, 3 white walls, it may actually distract the viewer's attention from the corpse, because initially we just have too much white in the picture, because the corpse is white, the walls are white, the dress is white, the eye band is white, the only thing colored is actually the hair and the blood. Well, actually not the blood, because we did it in black and white, but, you get the concept. So basically we used 1 white wall, and trust me, it looks so interestingly haunting that, it's actually hard to describe in words. So basically that were the only 2 things which actually differentiated from the original treatment. The rest was actually treatment correct. We had the bottle, we had the blood flowing was a bottle. Well, initially it is debatable whether or not this shot was actually shot to my imagination, but when I watched it, it actually is the most powerfulest and most impacting scene in the entire movie. So I'm actually glad that, it is as it is, because it just gives the viewer such an hook in. Let's just say that. It hooks the audience into this movie. It just basically is haunting. Basically you have this blood coming in without any origin. It's just such a powerful scene, I must say. Wonderful. Now initially you're wondering, wow, the Sinister Innocence sounds really fun and fluffy. Well, sorry to disappoint you, it's a psychological horror, which basically means you're gonna be scared out of your wits Fun, isn't it? No, anyway, that's why we put a warning in the start, which says this video is psychologically and emotionally tormenting and, well, actually it's emotionally and psychologically affecting you and will possibly torment you, just in case if someone says, I got driven into some deep depression and then I committed suicide because I watched your video. That's the point of it. So, back to the topic. Even though we put a warning, I'll just advise you on how to watch the video in the right way, let's just say that. So, first make sure the room is completely dark at 360 degrees. Then make sure all doors, windows, and ceiling panels are locked. Then make sure that your audience are fastly sustained onto the chairs, because initially they may just go and rampage. Just go and rampage all over the place, and we don't want that now, do we? Third, make sure you don't sell any popcorn or drinks, because initially there may be choking hazards because they're so scared of the movie. So just advise, if you are thinking of buying popcorn and soft drinks, just be aware and have an ambulance next to the cinema. Fourth, have security guards at all exits, fronts, and entrances, since when the movie starts, no one is able to enter or leave. Sorry, you'll just be tormented to a very fun extent. Now, anyway, once the movie is done, leave the screen black for an entirety of 60 seconds, which basically will guarantee Sinister Innocence to basically edge itself into your little subconscious and stay there for the rest of your life. Sorry about that, but I did warn you in the start. Now, initially, what I find very interesting about Sinister Innocence is the voiceovers and the music. The music seems to guide the camera. It's not like I'm guiding the camera or Kino's guiding the camera. It's like the music is guiding the camera, which actually is a nice effect. What I think about the voiceover is, okay, yes, it's 32 seconds of darkness with me just saying, talking like this with my sound bowl ringing, but I can guarantee you it's a really, really nice effect, and I must say it's really haunting, because initially you have to imagine this. You're in complete darkness, nothing around you, just darkness, and then you hear this strange, I call it witch-like voice, haunt in a nice echoey effect all around you, with this nice sound bowl just going into your psychological subconsciousness, tormenting you, and then you suddenly have the dripping of water, drop, 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 and then you have the screen clearing and a water bottle with the water drawing down, and that's just such a haunting effect. That's psychologically pure, because initially you're thinking, oh my god, what's going on there? There's no light, there's nothing, I'm stuck in this room with this weird voice around me, which sounds like a psychological maniac speaking in a really interesting voice. It's like mental torture right there, which actually basically is the effect which I wanted to achieve. Now, initially, if we come to the concept that, yes, it is psychological haunting, actually, sorry to disappoint, I didn't actually find it psychologically haunting. But, however, some may find it psychologically haunting, hence, which is why I put the warning. Some people may be affected by Sinister Innocence. Some may not. I do not know what horror movies you guys watch, but I can definitely guarantee you that this movie just beats them all. Because initially, we use mise-en-scène and cinematography to an extent you cannot even imagine. when I watch, you know, you can watch it over and over and over and over again without it getting boring, or it's lose its magnificent, haunting, shocking effect. You know, you can just watch it over and over, which is what we did in editing. We never got tired of watching this amazing piece of film, because initially it's just such a great camera movement. You can analyze it in so many different ways and methods. So this is what I'm gonna do now for you, the deep analysis of things, the deep explanation. Welcome to Sinister Innocence 101. Now, initially, what does blood actually represent? An interesting question. It can be interpreted in many different ways and many different forms. I only have one form, the true form. Initially, Sinister Innocence bases itself upon the theory that skin is just a mask behind which we hide true evil, so the sinister.innocence side, sinister side of us. Basically, there are these people known as Thanatos, which is a made-up term which pieces itself out of Thanatos, which is a Greek word for death, and Lantern, which is just a made-up expression meaning color. So initially, death color. And these people basically can see behind this mask, which basically means that their vision is 99% just skinned people with maggots crawling all over them. And so basically, Thanatos suffer from a sort of split personality. Basically, when they're subconscious, their sinister subconscious surfaces, they transform into these haunting pest doctor sort of things, which we actually have in Sinister Innocence, and then basically randomly kill people. There's no logical explanation why the people have to die or not. It's just, you know, it's either one, it could be two, it could be 800, 8,000, etc. It just depends on it, you know, how pissed off you are, or just simply, there is no logical explanation. It's just subconscious killing without actually you having to do anything. And the problem is, Thanatos actually don't know that they're killing. That's why I say it's a sort of split personality, where one persona takes over the other. It's basically like I'm sitting here, and the next thing I'm transforming into this thing, and then just slashing at you, and then I'm going back to, oh, no, what happened now? Why is there a corpse on the floor? You know. That's the concept. Initially, back to the blood. Blood is initially something which lies under our skin, under this part here. So basically, blood has something to do with sinister. So basically, that's the introduction of it. The blood is the sinister thing. Now, water drops, yes, it can be interpreted in many different ways. Water drops could represent innocence, for example. But initially, the beginning scene is conducted in such a way that you actually have the feeling that you're in a thunderstorm. Well, actually, I tried to portray a bathroom scene with a flickering neon light and just got a bit eerie, but initially it's a good effect. Because initially you're puzzled. Is it now a thunderstorm or is it a bathroom? Initially, a thunderstorm is always used when there's approach of evil, ergo hence, the blood coming in. Blood represents evil now because initially it's under the skin. It's sinister. We follow the blood. Well, initially that's just realistical facts. I wanted to make it so realistic that you actually think you are a person going to a crime scene and then discovering this. You are basically observing the blood. And that just increases the haunting effect because it looks real. It doesn't look fake. Nothing in this thing looks fake or unreal, well, except the specter, the sinister pest doctor in the end. Except from that, everything looks realistic, and this is what I wanted. It's realistic, but also like you just took some hallucinogenic substance and are now hallucinating. Yes, it can happen that sometimes this entity actually can exist. But however, more importantly, what we have to understand of this is that you are even more confused because initially you don't know if you're hallucinating or not. Now, initially the corpse, alias Julia Tanner, is a ballet dancer. This is why I used Xing Yang for this, because initially she just had the right skin color and the right, well, thinness. And the right size, actually, height-wise. So basically what I did was I wanted to display this innocent corpse with Justica written on her forehead. Well, actually it's not shown in the video because initially the eye band covers it. But initially it's important for the plot to continue because initially the murderer uses this word to confuse the crime investigations into thinking that some maniac is doing this. Anyway, the corpse is this innocent part of this movie. It's covered in blood. Basically, it's already sinister. So basically, it's the combination of sinister and innocence in one thing. Then the pest doctor comes in. Again, the pest doctor is the symbolization of sinister and innocence because initially, if we go back to the plague and the think 16th or 15th century, 13th century. The pest doctors were basically, they looked really scary from the outside, but from the inside they were actually trying to help these people. And initially pest doctors are associated with death, because initially I think the lifespan of a pest doctor at the time of the plague was like 1 week. So basically I reversed this effect with the Town of Lantern, with the sinister pest doctor. I bring the sinister, the scariness out in front, which actually is like a pest doctor, but initially from the inside there is nothing friendly about him. He's just pure sinister evil. There's no innocence in it. It's just the subconscious taking over, the sinister taking over. And then when you transform back, you're innocent again. Basically, all people look innocent because they have skin. Skin is what defies us. Skin is what makes us unique. Skin is what people use to judge other people. If you take that away, we all look the same. We all look rotten, we all look strange, we all look bloody and tattered and whatever. Now initially, this is why I chose a sinister pest doctor, because initially I just did not want a creepy figure with a knife or a Glasgow smile or a clown. I wanted something which is historically based, something which people can say, aha, this is linked to the Black Death, or this could be linked to this. I want the audience to puzzle about my movie. I want them to guess, I want them to make assumptions, I want them to analyze it. And it is possible to analyze this video in so many different ways. For example, the white wall can be just a white wall. It could be the innocence. It could be the sinister. You do not know it actually. White is the color of death in China, for example. See, this is the point of it. You don't actually know who now is sinister and who now is innocent. Okay, we can associate that the corpse is innocent and the sinister pest doctor is sinister, but initially they're both wearing colors of death, black and white. So basically, they're both a representation of death. Basically, I used the European version of death. Black, doom, decay, etc. But initially, I also used white, which is in most Asian countries the color of death and despair. So initially we have a death sort of image, which is one of the reasons why I did it black and white. We have a sort of memento mori effect. Memento mori, if no one knows, is the effect which is caused, basically it is the appearance of death all around. You know, it's the universality of death, that death is inanimate. So basically, what this does is that it enhances the sharpness, the realistic look of the scene into such a great effect that it becomes psychologically tormenting. Okay, now, initially, Sinister Innocence at the end. You know, it's just a jump scare. It has no real meaning except burning. We're all burning. All of humanity is burning at someone, and you have to admit that. This is what I want to see, you know? This is what I want to portray. That humanity underneath their skin is just rotting. It's just animalistic. It is basically the truth. The true fact of it. And if you really consider it, you will realize it. That this is the truth. That I am telling the truth. I'm not so sure if this is now psychologically insane or not, but initially this is the message which my film actually wants to portray, that underneath we're all sinister. We're all equal in this. So basically, it's a warning that you should not trust on first sight. You should not trust people. Well, actually, you should trust people, but initially you need to be sure who to trust. Ergo, hence the poem sort of warning in the start. You should be aware who to trust for you to be able to know why you trust them. Because initially it happens, people trust other people, because on how they look. It's a common thing. If you see a friendly face, obviously you're gonna trust them. If you see like this, I don't think you're gonna trust them. So basically, this also goes back to the pest doctors. You know, if you just see them with the big masks and the dark hoodies and their stick, you wouldn't trust them, you know. Initially, you would be scared by them. Yeah, sorry, I managed to psychologically torment most of my teammates, but ignorance, you know, that happens. So, basically, what we have is that Sinister Innocence is something which can be analyzed in many ways. I just did this. I hope you did enjoy it, and I hope it was getting too boring or psychologically insane. Now, initially, feel free to analyze it in the way you want it. This is how I would analyze it. Trust me, it would just go longer, but initially you just don't want to sit here for 50 minutes and see me talking, so I will wrap this short. Sinister Innocence is a psychological horror movie. I hope you do enjoy watching it, and I hope you're not psychologically tormented, because initially, this is what I want to do with you. I want to psychologically torment you. Sorry, but you know, not actually. So, I hope you do enjoy this. See you soon, and well, initially just watch Sinister Innocence at your own risk, please. You know, I'm not so sure if it will psychologically torment you, or if you're just, you know, hardened with all the other horror movies out there, but I'm just warning you, it is pretty realistic, it is pretty scary, and it's pretty psychologically tormenting, because we use flashing lights, because we use real blood, because everything which I basically said for the past 22 minutes. So, bye-bye, see ya. This was Philip Mayer, director of Sinister Innocence. Have a good night, sleep well, don't have any nightmares of creepy hooded pest doctors coming and getting you. Oh, oops. That was a joke, just saying.